Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild and I came back to Object 85. I still don't know if that's a good name for something. And I'm happy that I didn't lose that moon. Now you will ask, how do you lose a moon? So, okay, I wanted to give you an episode earlier, but the world didn't load because, don't know, Steam wanted to not upload or not download one of the updates. There's a planet or a planet group. The mod is called Paradise. It's a big gas giant and a lot of moons around it so that you can have a big variety. I used some of them in this world. And now I had to get rid of them because if Paradise is such a big problem, I have to clean house. So it's not none of the planets we really saw. We passed by them basically, and just the purple planet, for example, is gone, and another moon is gone. We will replace them with other moons. I want to go for smaller mods because it seems that Steam sometimes has problems with downloading, uploading, however. Bigger mods. I don't know what, and I downloaded it manually, but I don't know where Space Engineer stores mods. But now it is solved, gladly, and now I have to improvise. But we came here because I want to build a station here. So Object 85, for maybe some of the newer people, is a station on this moon that kind of is more realistic. It is a space station made out of components that are very similar to each other, and it is kind of arranged in a way where, I don't know, how people sometimes imagine space stations on other planets. And we will do the same with a station in orbit. So we will go and build something like the International Space Station. It's a bit weird because we have these monstrous spaceships that have crazy alien tech thrusters, and now we want to build basically a thing that, don't know, nobody needs anymore, because we could have just big space stations with all the things around it. For that, by the way, I built this ship. We will bring this ship down to the planet, hopefully, land it, and then just lift off again. Because I need an anchor point for the station. I need a starting point. And I want to have the station in a geosynchronous orbit above the station. That's dumb because there is no orbital physics in Space Engineers, but I want to land on the landing pad and then just lift straight up, fly up into space, get out of the gravity well, basically, and then we anchor it there. So just make the ship into a station. I hope that works out. I don't know. I'm just doing other things around the ship while this was building because it just took ages. I was already down at the planet, and I hopefully this thing has enough thrust. It seems so low. Maybe let us try to be sure and try to be careful. These things, I went a bit above what was needed with the thruster, or not with the thruster, with a reactor, because these I think use 42 megawatts, while under full load I'm not sure. I could have gone with one of the normal reactors, but I went overboard. I don't care. We will dismantle that again later and then just use solars maybe. And I hope for... I hope this is enough. I hope this is enough. So maybe for a station we will use solars. That would be the realistic thing to do. Maybe a small reactor. We will call it an RTG or something like that. I even considered doing a tether, so an orbital lift or something like that. But I have to say that building these large structures in my world is kind of not a thing I should do. The world is not running too well, and I should be careful with what I'm setting up here. It seems I still have enough thrust for everything. So let me introduce maybe newer subscribers to the station just for a second. This is the base on Object 85. The name comes from the mod. The mod is called Object or Objeto something. I think it's Italian, Spanish. I'm not sure, but it's basically Object 85. That's the moon. That's how it is called. I kind of like the name, so that's why I just refer to this moon as Object 85. And I will keep doing that. Let us land just for a second. This needs to be brought into position. Now I can get out just for a second. So you can see that we have these capsules. That's how the base was built, with these modules in mind. Every one of these modules is externally the same. Internally they are different. So we have modules with beds and spaces for people to live in. We have a survival kit. We have spaces where people can cook, where people can store food or stuff like that. Laboratory and so on. In earlier iterations I had everything that was needed for the daily needs mod in one of these modules, but since I removed that mod, that is the command area basically, with just a conference table and some don't know, this will be a storage thing, or should have been a storage thing. And we have a small arboretum, a small geodesic dome that basically houses a bit of grass. I had some plants in here. Since then I removed the mod, but the thing is, the plants were removed earlier. It was trees basically. Trees were removed earlier because they are they are small, not small grids. They are big grids, one block with no energy, and now you can assume what the trash removal did to it. It is a bit sad, but all the trees got just deleted. So we have, this was the module for the daily needs mod. That's why it is open to space right now, because it the blocks were removed. And now it's just open to space. We'll have to close that once we maybe come back down here again. I have the workspace, and I did some experiments with the gantries. The gantry mod got updated, and we have these blocks now, and that's one thing I definitely want to exchange. So these are half blocks, and the small slopes and the 2x1 slopes, we have them now as gantry blocks, and so that's something we want to definitely exchange. I like this scaffolding look, but with the gantries it's a lot better. The trailer, some of you may have seen it, the trailer for the moon buggy got removed too, sadly. It seems that it ran out of energy and now, yeah, the trash removal just got to it. Or we removed it, I'm not sure, it could be that we removed it. But the moon buggy is still alive, although I don't know how long, because I kind of, these wheels kind of irk me. The big rover with the small grid airtight door, that thing is still here. That's a good thing, we can still use that. And we have the landing pad, and in the middle power production and some storage and all that stuff. It's a neat little base just to have this real space feeling, space engineering feeling, and it's not a big monster base with everything. It looks more realistic. So just so you new people, we might have a problem because there is already something in orbit that I used. I hope that we don't crash into that and that we can just lift straight up. It shouldn't be too problematic. I hope that we don't run into too many problems with this. It is directly above us, so we might run into problems. Coming closer. Okay, see, I left something already in orbit. This thing is a bit more precise, I hope, and we can just anchor it here and then make this thing into a station. So see how bad we initially went with a ship I used. So let us just go into this, convert this to a station. Now it is anchored, we can't move it anymore, and we can go and remove this thing. That was the first try to have something above the station. This thing should be a bit more precise because it's just, don't know, it flew straight up and we can make it into a station. The first try I did with a small grid vehicle. So now let us fly the... See, there is the Empress. We'll fly it over here and then remove this structure and build up on this structure, I would say. So let me see, what is the antenna range? We should be in range. Yes, we are in range. Good. Let's fly over to that ship. So again, this should start with a small... one part of the station. It should look like things that got shot into orbit. Maybe in a different way. Here, realistically, they might have when people arrived here, or when I arrived here, I might have brought something in orbit, built a station, then went down to the planet, or the other way around. So if something started from the planet, might have been modules that got shot up, and we will find a way to have similar modules then there are in reality on a space station. I will look into some how are modules on space stations designed, and then just take that and use reality as my inspiration, and not science fiction or crazy science fiction stories or games or whatsoever. I can't move this thing for long because it's just too big, too power hungry, and this ship is not a thing I should constantly fly. Good. Let us get closer to the two parked things. And now we just get so much in range that the build and repair systems can just take over and get rid of the first thing that we build up here. At the moment I'm backtracking. People wanted me to also go to Dune and do some more work there. The ornithopter, for example, we could try to work on that again, because now with some of the new block abilities, with basically having these new hitboxes, we could end up with something that works better. It will not completely get rid of the wonky physics of Space Engineers, but that could be neat. After the last video, I was a bit surprised because nobody mentioned the changed intro and the hopefully better quality with more FPS and all that stuff. I was I did so much work just to get the intro running again and all that stuff. Maybe for this episode I can do something here. I'm not sure, but I was really happy with what I've achieved there, and was kind of irritated by the fact that nobody seemed to have noticed it, or was everything so alright that you didn't think it was necessary to mention it. I'm if that happens, everything's good. Okay, we will bring this closer, and now we can start to build it up. So in KSP there is, you can have these nice base buildings, and here we should start with something that in KSP is one of the nicer parts of every space station, a connector, or a six-way, I think it's six-way connector. So as a starting point for the whole thing. But the question is, how do we do that? I'm not sure. I want to keep it kind of small, but on the other hand, it should be, it is a large station, so we will have to deal with large blocks. But I want to be able to maneuver around in the station just with the jetpack. So use the weightless the weightless area up here in orbit. Now the question is, how do we do that? So if we go with a six-way connector, let us just improvise for a second. So if we say this is the bottom, I want merge blocks, because we will maybe merge we could do something like merging the different parts to the station, so that we maybe could remove some of the modules and put them on in a different way if we really want that. So we should keep that in mind. So one thing that merge blocks really don't like is having stuff close by. So if we do something like an airlock, so let me do something like this. And then we just have another side of this. We could just go really with trying to emulate a 6-way connector. It will be big. Again, it is not really achievable with... Yeah, we could try, but I don't want to make a station that is small blocks gone big. So we will try to keep it small, but with big blocks. So we will use this as the starting point. We can have, we can fly into it, fly through it, and find our ways into the other modules. Thing is, we kind of are relatively in a good position for the sun. So if we do solar panels that reach out, we can have them attached with rotors and then use ISIs to rotate them into the sun. A thing that we maybe want to do. Okay, good. Merge blocks. So, merge blocks. We use the normal merge block. Merge block. We can make a merge block or everything around a merge block airtight by just using... Oh, no. Come on, 5. T. That's something that shouldn't turn on its own. Use this as the starting point for everything. So if we use this and have that on every module, we can make it so that we could even disconnect the modules again, move everything or something like that. I think that would be kind of interesting, having just this way as the mergeable surface, and then use... People use that all the time for ships, because it's just the easiest way to make the whole thing airtight. And what we will do, we will put into the corners these things, because these things don't or shouldn't merge. So again, everything will stay unlockable. Maybe we need to use doors or airlocks. Not sure yet. Doors would be interesting because we could have doors on each side and then open it once it is airtight and just close it. We don't have something like hatches that space stations would have, so that we could close them off and then disconnect that. But if we just go with this can stay that way for now until we disconnect this ship. Can we remove? I think we can. Need to remove this thruster here. 9. And then build just a new one somewhere else. If we, don't know, want to keep the ship, we could keep that small thing, but it's not really worth it. But for now, it is the power source for the whole thing. And so we should keep that connected for now. 3. So, merge block. Good. our 6-way connector. I will make it a bit nicer with maybe some blocks around it so that it gets a more rounded shape. Maybe we can start coloring something. I'm just not good at coloring stations. People out there are a lot better than me. This will go all around these things, and they are basically just something that holds everything together, and we don't have just the merge blocks there. But again, that way nothing should merge with these blocks. As far as I know, the pointy bit there is not a mergeable surface. So again, we will establish something with maybe just a few solar panels for now, so it can stay in orbit. I'm thinking about doing some restructuring in the world. I'm thinking about turning back on sun rotation. I have that turned off for the longest time now because I wanted to mainly have good visuals, but on the other hand, I'm starving myself of at least some technical solutions for certain things, and so thinking about turning that back on. Not sure if that's a good idea, but maybe I can try that. Okay. Now, how to make it rounder? I could go with these blocks here, but I'm not sure if that counts. Let me test something. 3. Now here. 3. 3. I think that's a neat solution. I don't know. It doesn't give it the perfect round shape that I would like to have, but it makes it a lot better than just the flats there. So we will go all around, exchange these blocks. Come on. And then we have the first module of the station done. I think I will finish this for a sec, come back to you when I've done that, and then we will take a look at it. And now it starts to look weird. That's what we have right now. That will be the start of the station and the first part that stays here, and that we then later add things to. So in the middle of building, I kind of forgot that we need connections. We need connectors that connect the different parts of the station to each other. Otherwise, we will have to have O2 on every module, and we can't have storage, and we would have to always fly there. This is the finicky stuff about the large grid blocks. So as soon as we use stuff like that, we end up with the weirdest thing to achieve certain things. So what we have to do now is each module needs to be interconnected in itself. So if we, for example, put a module here that leads out to this area, we need this ring of merge blocks to merge it to the station, and I'm using connectors here so that we can decouple that if we want later. But now I have to make internally the module connected up to all these connectors, so that if we connect a module here and here, they are connected with each other, so that we can have a connection from here over this connector into the module, and then into this connector again, and out of this connector, and so on. So we will have to think about this. I've put just some doors in as hatches because that's the easiest way to do that, into each direction. Internally, that's the thing, we have a very, very small space here. If we can't do the connections internally with things or with some things, so we can cut into it, and we see that there is the conveyors here. So we could have emergency routing through this module or something like that. That would be possible. That's why I want to keep it empty. The cool thing is it makes it in the end feel a bit cramped, like a space station would be. And the only thing is now it everything feels just too big, too big on the outside. But I don't care. It will be fun to kind of now think about what modules do we need? What modules would a space station have? We need power production that we maybe can connect to the outside of the station. Maybe we need some oxygen production. We don't want to ferry ice to here. Then we need storage for tanks, storage for cargo. We could have a science lab, something to to just have a bit of resource production, resource management, how to call it. Yeah, that may be a refinery. We need an assembler, and then we need to think about other things that we can build onto this. Could be interesting. A bit of a dock would be nice. So we could have a docking port, so a module that has one of these docking ports on it or something like that. That would be possible. We could then dock the ship to the station. I don't want to make the whole thing too big, but we need to establish at least power storage. That is the first thing we should, or a smaller power production. Let's say it that way. And then we don't know. We need something to ferry stuff around. We could have a module that houses containers. That is possible. We can just add them to the outside of the whole thing, and then have one of the cargo lifters that can stay here and then bring cargo up and down. I thought about maybe, don't know, a gravity cannon that shoots stuff down, but we have the modules, so why use anything else? It will be interesting to deal with the whole thing, to give each module give each module purpose. That would be interesting. Good people, but I think that's all for today. I wanted to establish this, my plan for the next few episodes, and I can now start to model out things. Maybe we can make a base module that we then can produce and then modify to our needs. Something like that would be interesting. I don't want to make it too big, but we see that we need to have a certain size. It will at least have, don't know, 5, 7 blocks all around, something like that. So maybe deal in that. I will play around with the idea, have some suggestions, and then maybe we have a standardized module that we can just connect to each other. Something like that would be interesting. And then we can have maybe one module that we can attach solar panels to, one module that we can have power storage, and then one module with tanks, stuff like that. Good people, but I think that's again all for today. Hope you liked my plans and what we have set up here, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya, guys.